Hey, world, welcome to another exciting episode of A Minute with Miles, where we focus on positivity, progress, and power. So, today, man, we're going to be talking about steps to how you can get a bag, right? From absolutely $0 to having absolutely no money, no food, maybe no spot. I don't know what your situation is, right? But most people ain't that, far gone. But even if you is, check this out. I got you, right? There are so many ways to get a check nowadays. It is ridiculous, right? So I'm a little bit older, man. When I was coming up, man, you had to get a job or be hustling or be doing some crazy shit to get your money on, right? But now there's so many opportunities off of this motherfucking device right here, a smartphone. A smartphone can make you rich if you make the right moves and you do everything strategically, right? So look, I'm going to tell you like this, right? I know a lot of times when you're at zero, you feel this feeling of discouragement and just like, what's the point? A lot of times people feel like, what's the point, right? I have nothing. What's the point in even trying? What's the point? And that's the very first thing I'm going to tell you. If you want to get rich, if you're trying to get a few dollars, man, you absolutely have to adjust your thought process. It all starts in the motherfucking mind, man. If you don't believe it, you can't achieve it. You can't be the best till you see the best, right? So the first thing, like I said, I'm going to tell you, it's mindset. It's absolutely 1000% mindset. When I was toe up, right? When I told y'all I was homeless and I was living in my mama's car and just riding around doing DoorDash or that, right? I fed my mind because I knew myself, my own thoughts. I was in a dark space. All I was thinking about was, man, this shit is pointless, blood. I might as well just go back to my mama house and just tap out and just be like, man, this is it, man. Go get me a bottle and just, lay on the couch until my last days, right? But I knew that, and because I knew that my mind was in a space to where it wasn't healthy, it wasn't, producing positive thoughts, I said, okay, now I got to put the positive thoughts in there. I got to manufacture them motherfuckers, right? So first and foremost, like I always say, man, get yourself together with the Lord God, right? Get yourself together with God, man. Talk to him, tell him what you need, tell him what you want, tell him how you feeling, tell him that you on the brink of giving up everything. He wants to hear from you, and he wants to hear those things from you. He wants to know exactly what you're going through, and he wants you to bring those things to him to show that you have faith and trust in God, right? That's first and foremost. Get yourself right with God. How I did that, like I said, I was in a car. I lived in a car. The only thing I had was a smartphone and a car, right? So shout out to my mama. Appreciate her letting me borrow the whip, man. She had a car, one of them Nuki things with the aux and the wireless Apple CarPlay, whatever the fuck it is. So the first thing, like I said, with connection to getting yourself right with God, the first thing I did, man, I just listened to heck of sermons, bro. I just listened to sermons and sermons and sermons and sermons about faith and triumph and not giving up and constantly just, different people in the Bible that went through things that a lot of people might not have survived if they did not have faith, right? That was the first thing. Rule one. That was the very first thing that I did, right? I just listened to sermons all day long, right? The next thing, once I established what it was that I wanted to do, I said, hey, I want to do real estate. I want to be a successful real estate investor. At that time, I had gotten a taste. I purchased a property a few years back, but things ended up not going the way I wanted them to go, whatever. So that property ended up, diminishing or whatever, however it went. So first thing, I got myself right with God. The next thing, I'm like, okay, I want to do real estate. Okay, so the thing that a lot of people don't realize is, right, I'm not telling nobody not to go to college. I want my child to go to college, and I want anybody that wants to go to college to go to college. But the thing is, people think like this isn't the old days no more, right? You can become successful and rich from just self-education, because a lot of the shit they teach you in college, bro, that's not shit that you would actually need for your field. The only thing I would recommend somebody go to college for is if you want to do something that requires some type of license, something in the medicinal field, law school even. Law school, sometimes there are people that don't even go to law school that are self-taught that just take the motherfucking bar. You don't have to go to college to be a lawyer. You just have to learn the fucking law. It's really simple, right? But the thing is, man, on our devices, bro, we have an unlimited amount of access to pretty much anything that you want. You got to think about it like this, right? A person walks into a school, right? And because of their ability to retain information, right? Take notes, take tests, show that they've learned something, right? They can walk into a building, right? And they walk into that building as fucking David Jones, right? And by the time they come out of that building, if they take those tests correctly and they retain the information correctly and they pass the finals and this and that, you can now be David Jones Esquire. You can now be David Jones, the dentist, David Jones, the physician, right? Basically, that's all it is. It's education. And the reason why I want my daughter to go to college is because I think college teaches people that might not have a steady work ethic to not quit on something. Because I think that's what, like, higher paying jobs and different things like that don't require a license, right? But just a job that requires a college degree. A lot of the times people get hired with degrees that have nothing to do with the job that they're in. The thing is, it shows the employer that this is an individual that will not quit, because college is difficult from what I hear, right? But if you're elite, right? If you're special, if you are set apart, if you're different from the rest of the world, and you could put that own discipline, that discipline on yourself, on your own self, you can do the exact same shit, bruh. So basically what I did, man, I just devoured the knowledge about anything to do with real estate, anything real estate, man. Owner financing, financing through a bank, single family versus multifamily, the Bird method, you know what I'm saying? Buy and hold versus fix and flip. All these different little things I just put into my brain day in and day out. I'm just listening, learning. Positivity, positivity, real estate guide, positivity, real estate guide, positivity, real estate. That's all I was doing, right? So with that, excuse me again. With that, I knew that it was going to take me some money to get into what the industry that I wanted to get in, right? Okay. There are some ways, and there are a lot of videos out there that tell people that there are ways to get money through real estate with absolutely $0. But most of the times you have to at least have credit or something, right? I don't know the way to do that. So I'm thinking that at least bare minimum, I got to have a few racks. So getting back to the point that I'm making about getting some chili. First thing, get your mind right. Get yourself right with God. Then get your mind right, and then figure out what it is you want to do. After you figure out what it is that you want to do, now you just got to get some money, and that's what we're talking about, right? So what I did was, what you have to do when you're trying to get money and you're trying to evolve into something else, you have to do something that you hate long enough to make enough money to do something that you don't hate so much, and do that long enough until you make enough money so you can do something that you love, right? So for example, my thing was this, right? I always been a car guy. I always fuck with cars. I like foreigns, Europeans, and shit like that, Benzes, Beamers, shit like that, or whatever. But I'm also just into cars in general. I like old schools. I even like the little Supras and the Hondas and shit like that. I just like cars, right? And I always knew in the back of my mind, I've always made a few dollars from buying and selling cars, just because I always just had hella cars. You know what I'm saying? So I get a car, drive it for a week, couple weeks, put it up for sale, make a rack, 2 racks off of it, profit, and then I go cop something else with the extras, right? So I'm like, okay, boom. The very first thing that I have to do is I have to find a job that requires very little of, skill, right? Because I don't have no skills. I had no skills. I hadn't been to college. I didn't graduate high school. I got a GED. So I said, okay, I'm a DoorDash. So I'm door dashing. Boom. I'm door dashing, stacking that money, door dashing, stacking that money. Now, let me show you how one thing playing to the other. The positive thinking stuff and the faith and all that stuff is what kept my mind right to be optimistic on the simple fact that I don't have a place to live right now. So instead of me being down in the dumps, I looked at that as a positive, and that could put me in the mindset to be able to stack a grotesque amount of money. Not grotesque. I'm overreacting like a motherfucker. To stack a very nice amount of money, more than the average person that's probably homeless, right? I'll say that confidently, right? I probably have more money than the average homeless nigga running around, right? So with that, I took that money And then I bought some whips. I bought a car. I bought them one at a time. I didn't buy a bunch at one time. I bought a car. And then with that car, I had another car that I had already, but I would use that car and drive it just to get my money's worth out or whatever. So I'll give you an example. Specifically, it was a 2004 Mazda 6, I think it was. I don't remember exactly, something like that. But it had a dent in the door, and I bought it in Santa Cruz. I had somebody ride with me down there to Santa Cruz to pick the car up. It was an older couple. They just wanted to get rid of it. They wanted $2,500 for it. I negotiated down to $21,000. I drove that car for about 3 weeks, and in that process, I cleaned it up real nice. I never fixed the dent because it ran fucking superbly. That car ran really good. And it had real low miles on it. So I cleaned it up real good. And then I posted some pictures on it to sell it. And I ended up selling it. I listed it for 45. And I ended up getting 42 for it. Something like that. I don't remember. So boom. Now, excuse me. So now, look what I did. I done took absolutely nothing. I had no skills. I had no car. I had no money. I had no nothing. Thank God my mama let me use her car. That was it. But even if she didn't let me use my car, I was still planning on doing DoorDash on a bicycle if that's what it had to be, right? But it ended up not having to be that. So I did something that I didn't necessarily like. DoorDashing is very time consuming and they don't pay you enough, especially at the time when I was doing it. But whatever, right? But I did something I didn't really care for. And I had to work hard at it, so I stacked some money. I invested it to do something that I didn't hate, but it wasn't my goal. It wasn't my dream. It wasn't what I was trying to do, right? So I took that money, and then with the money that I was making from the car, so basically that's the formula, but I did the car thing a couple more times or whatever. Then I had enough money to buy a property, right? Still homeless. Still had nowhere to go. And at the time when I was actually starting looking for properties, I was laying in the trunk of one of the cars that I was in the process of trying to sell, right? So long story short, what I'm saying is this, right? The real estate shit has rolled over to a bunch of different things. Again, like I said, I've had hills and valleys of real estate too. I'm not saying whatever it is that you want to do. I'm not saying that once you get to your dream job or the thing that you really want to do, that everything is just going to be smooth from there. But I'm just telling you how to get there, right? So basically, once I got into real estate, then that's when, money started flowing and money started coming. You know what I'm saying? But that's the formula right there, man. That's the cheat code, man, right there. Do something that you don't care to do. And it could just be a regular 9-to-5 job. Cut your expenses. Stop trying to party. Don't buy too many clothes. Don't go out to eat. Don't do nothing fancy. Don't go on no trips. Don't go on no vacations. Don't do nothing extra or crazy. Stack that money, right? Then reinvest it into something that's legal that you can make some money off of. I live in the state of California, so I could tell people, man, go buy you a pea or two of some tree. You know what I'm saying? Get you some weed, whatever the fuck, whatever it is, right? Reinvest into that. Reinvest into that thing and then stack that money up off of that thing and continuing to do the job that you hate. And then you'll be able to invest in what it is that you really want to do or have enough money to start the thing that you really want to do, man. So this is the formula, man. This is how you get rich, man. I'm not rich yet, but I'm in the process of it because I'm still doing the same shit. And I'm still working jobs and doing shit that I don't necessarily want to do. I'm still making investments in the things that I don't hate, but I'm still, it's not my thing until I get to the point that I can do real estate full time. But that is the recipe. That's what I've seen and heard many millionaires and billionaires say. That was their formula. You got to put the work in, man. It's not about you getting money. It's about you having the character and having the personality to, no matter what, keep going and put the actual work in. That's the only thing that's going to make you successful. You got to put the work in, man. So this is A Minute with Miles, man. Be sure to look out for the Improvement Institution coming soon. We focus on positivity, progress, and power.